MrBeast is once again in the news. Every few months he does a story. We've actually covered quite a few of the things with Chris Tyson, all that stuff.
Yes.
That is not this. We're back on to topic as far as MrBeast and what he does for a living, which is just a weird form of capitalism philanthropy, right? Like
someone commented, MrBeast helped deaf people gender transition. Real, by the way.
Yes. It says, deaf people like me deserve better than MrBeast's latest piece of inspiration porn. That's their words for it.
The inspiration porn he's talking about is a video that MrBeast put out called 1,000 Deaf People Here for the First Time.
Also, I put in the chat, guys, I asked you a question. I said, is MrBeast a philanthropist or is he the Antichrist?
Because there's nothing in between.
I would imagine that the better version of it would be, is MrBeast helpful or is he exploitative? And I do think that the answer here is that you can be both a philanthropist and have capitalist ambitions, right? It's not that hard when you're doing something like this. In a world full of people doing bad things for money, what's wrong with people doing good things while also making money in addition?
I don't think that it's even possible to do the right thing for purely the good intentions. Everyone has mixed intentions in doing the right thing, right?
Exactly. There's nobody in the world that's actually 100% in favor of doing things for other people with no gain.
They're asking MrBeast to quite literally be Jesus Christ. And I'm sorry, you're going to continue to be disappointed if you're asking for perfection from imperfect people. And from what I can tell in the video, he is doing a good thing. So he donated these hearing aids that I guess are some updated technology to 1,000 deaf people in a lot of different countries. He went to like Brazil, Guatemala, Mexico, pretty much all over the world, and like did a count of all the people. He donated $10,000 to them as well. Well, that's in a few situations.
That's the most annoying. Yeah,
gave one of them a jet ski just cause.
Yeah.
And like this is perfectly what you would expect for MrBeast's content. I don't like he recently did that video helping blind people see again. Yep. And I guess the criticism here is that oftentimes when deaf people get a hearing aid, it's not a fix-all solution for them.
They're mad that it's being shown.
Are you mad that it's a fix-all solution for some people? Yeah. Is that what you're mad about?
What they're mad about is the fact that it doesn't show all of the struggle and work that goes into making stuff like this work. But this isn't reality. This is TV. It's just TV and the internet.
How would you do that in a 6-minute video? And by the way, the way that MrBeast pumps out content in a digestible format that's like highly edited, that has a clickable thumbnail, the reason for him having the fortunes that he does to donate them is that content. So it's all a package deal. You can't have one without the other. He said, we got our hands on $3 million. And that actually just means like I gave away $3 million of my own dollars that I have from my YouTube empire, which doesn't exist without clickbait.
The person who wrote this article fundamentally wants content that is not this content. But nobody watches that content. I'm sorry. It may be more accurate to what your lived experience was as somebody who is deaf. There was also people that were partially deaf in there. I heard somebody say, I can hear again in my right ear, or I can hear again in my left ear, or something like that. Yeah. And what you want is, unfortunately, as good as it would be to get people to watch something like that, it's not going to have the mass appeal that content like this has.
And then how would you get people to continue donating their money or buying MrBeast's products, which would support more of that philanthropy to continue? It just doesn't make any sense. And this person said, it amplifies the dangerous misconception that hearing devices such as hearing aids and cochlear implants are cures or fixes for deafness. They aren't. Now, maybe that's a misconception and it's widespread, and you could argue that the video spreads such a misconception, but what makes it dangerous? You're just echoing buzzwords that you've heard before from other activists. It doesn't actually mean anything. You're criticizing MrBeast for the sake of it because you're jealous, maybe, that you don't have as much power or influence. I know that a lot of people, given the chance, given the resources, wouldn't be doing the good that he's doing.
Yep.
They would be making the world a more evil place, which they do all the time.
Thank you. Look,
there are plenty of like shitty, slimy YouTubers out there to criticize.
Yep.
There's so many, but why do you choose MrBeast? You know,
it's funny because calling it inspiration, but it doesn't make somebody good or bad to watch content like this. It's just content for the sake of watching it, and the best you can hope for is that while making it, it does some good for people. But I love that there's a lot of skateboarders who are blind. There are legitimately skateboarders who skateboard while blind. And anytime I see a post from one of those, or the ones, there are skateboarders who have no legs that do it that literally do it with their hands. And I will always repost that. And I don't feel like that's exploitative. It's certainly inspirational content watching stuff like that. But is it exploitative to repost stuff like that? I don't think so.
He was like citing all of these other videos that he calls inspiration porn, and it's just odd to me because you're not recognizing that it's something that happened in real life behind the video, which was a good thing. Yeah. Someone who couldn't hear before chose that they wanted this aid of technology that helps them hear. That's a good thing. If people misinterpret it or use it for the wrong reasons, why call the whole thing bad? Why throw out the baby with the bathwater?
Because what they want, they don't want people to just care about their cause. They want people to care about their cause and their plight exactly in the way that they want them to care about it.
Like, you make the terms. But it's like, I'm sorry, MrBeast, the one who has all the money, who is making all of this change, he sets the terms. He's the one that is the reason any of this is possible. So he makes the terms for how it's done.
If he ends up making the content that this person wanted him to make, it's not interesting. It gets no views, and then no attention. What do you want?
Like a 3-hour-long documentary about it?
That could be made. That's just got to be made as a different type of content, and you can't complain when that type of content doesn't do the numbers that something like this does.
Right.
Nor does it make the people watching it bad or naive. I do wonder sometimes if people have forgotten the fact that like when you watch something, when you watch something on TV, you know it's fake because, or it's scripted, right? And even reality TV, people have a general idea that what they're watching isn't 110% real. And I think a lot of people still have trouble realizing that just because content is on YouTube doesn't make it any less produced than something on television, right? So what you're watching is just fundamentally, it's made to be inspirational. It's not made to be overly informative. It's made to make you feel a certain way. And in that case, he's done its job. It's just that the person who wrote this article didn't want him to do that.
This is specifically being framed as Americans attacking MrBeast. And I don't know if like American has anything to do with it, since most of his audience that supports him is American as well. But they said, do Americans really feel that deaf people should remain deaf? If there is a solution out there for them? We live in what we call the best country on earth. Shouldn't people who can be cured of deafness be taken care of?
No, we live in a country that values individualism. You should not be forced to have that cure if you don't want it.
And this journalist says the video fails to properly emphasize the element of choice deaf people have around whether they want to use these technologies.
That's not the point of this video.
And you're right, it's not the point of the video, but it also doesn't fail in any way to make it clear that they're here by choice.
Yeah.
Of course they know what they're getting into.
MrBeast kidnapped them and brought them.
What do you think? Yeah, do you think that he just went around Guatemala kidnapping people and throwing them in a white van and then dumps them onto a film set and then says, I'm going to force you to use a hearing aid?
Like, it's a fantastic alternate reality one that I want to see.
And then Elon Musk responded to this and said, people definitely shouldn't be attacked for doing good. Is it really just a question of money to restore hearing? I'm always looking for ways to donate money that are actually good. Perhaps this is one. It's very hard to donate money if you go about it doing actual good, not merely the appearance of it.
And the person is right that the culture around deafness is very, very different. It is very much to them a community and a culture, but that's not the point of this video.
Well, you using a cochlear implant or like a hearing aid doesn't make you not deaf anymore.
Nope, it does not.
It just means that you have something that helps you live your life.
Yeah.
I don't know what's so complicated about it.
I could have signed up for it and got hearing back in my right ear, and then I could have had something to say on this. Then I would have been allowed to have something to say.
You're allowed to have something to say. That's always, anybody can.
The other part about this that's really annoying is he gets mad that he didn't spend enough time talking about American Sign Language, neglecting to mention the part where he does spend at least a minute talking about how right now American Sign Language or sign language is a way that helps millions of people communicate even if they can't afford or have access to stuff like a cochlear implant or a hearing aid. But they get mad that he doesn't spend more time on it and forget to mention that MrBeast pledged or sent $100,000 to various charities whose job it is to help proliferate the use of sign language around the world. So it's like nothing's good enough. Why would you ever listen to people if it's never good enough?
Yeah, I think that this attack is bad faith because he's calling it benevolent ableism, knowing full well that MrBeast is doing what he does out of a good intention in his heart. And you're not reaching out, you're just cry bullying. You're not reaching out to him specifically to like help him understand your point of view. You're using this article to talk down. He said, you don't have to be unashamedly abusive and discriminatory to be ableist. Sometimes even the most casual, well-meaning actions can be harmful to deaf and disabled people.
And we all know that this is the type of thing that promotes people just not helping anyone. Because why would you want to go take the risk of helping another person if you find out that you didn't help them in the right way and therefore you're a bad person? Why would anyone want to get involved in that?
Yeah, it's sort of like... I mean, there's a growing problem, I think, in this country where people think that they can't get involved. If you're a bystander to something.
Somebody's beating up a woman in a subway and you're just like, hey, I'm staying out of it. This is not my business.
Like if you live in New York City and you're on a subway and somebody is antagonizing people on the train. Can't get involved. It's a bad look. You could get in trouble on the internet. And
I think another part of it is like they take issue with the way he phrases things in his thumbnails because like remember hearing blindness, which is really just it's a way of marketing. It's really good language that gets people to click on your videos. Yeah,
if you're criticizing that, you really have no idea. You would never get views on a YouTube video you put out if you're criticizing that.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing they've never made anything that's
They've never made anything, period.
I mean, they've never made a YouTube video or had to figure out ways to phrase things.
They've never created anything. They just criticize.
Well, that's a certain segment of the population.
It's an anti-culture.
Yeah.
I think also, not for nothing, I should mention, like, I think MrBeast gets attacked a lot because he's a cis straight white male.
Yeah.
I don't like using the word cis because it's just like he's not trans, but you know what I mean. He gets hate simply for being a straight white male on the internet and being successful, and people see that and instantly the resentment grows inside of them. They need to take him down.
And beyond just like what you mentioned about the thumbnails and stuff like that, when they say that he fails to properly emphasize the element of choice a deaf person has around whether they want to use them, that's an entirely separate video. Like that's like, if you're creating content, you have to draw the line somewhere on how you make your content. He could make that video, but that's not really the point of his channel.
That's not what it's about.
No, it doesn't make any sense. You really do have to figure out where your lane is, what the content you want to create is, what you want to get people to feel. Every time you make a video, like he makes a video like that, what do I want people to take away from this? And the subject that this writer is talking about is interesting, but it's not what MrBeast does. So
yeah, I think that this is a tactic to like make sure that no one's attempt at being well-meaning is good enough so that they stop trying, which ultimately makes the world a worse place. MrBeast is just making wholesome content, and I am tired of seeing like lively like ISIS killing videos on my Twitter timeline, and I'm tired of seeing violence and hypersexualization online. Sometimes like people just want to see a wholesome video that has no strings attached,
and that does not make them a bad person or shallow for wanting to watch that.
No.
Like that's a lot of the stuff that I end up liking and watching on Instagram is all very, very wholesome content. I don't think that makes me a good or a bad person. It's just something that I like to watch, and I don't think you need to have like a better reason to watch it than to just enjoy something like that. If I have to be given the option between watching that or watching something bad, I don't think it makes a person any less of a good person to just choose that rather
Also,
than watching something violent.
People who don't have the money always think that they know what should be done with the money, but you're not the one who has the money, so shut up, basically, is my point. And if they did have the money, I don't think they would be using it for selfless reasons.
Or they would, and they wouldn't be doing it as effectively.
Right. The article ends with, here's the thing. Deaf people like me need hearing people to speak up alongside us, not just for us. In what way is MrBeast speaking for deaf people?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're into the
It's all semantics.
Yes. Yep. There's a $20 one right there.
Oh, from Deuce Boogaloo said, if you're on a subway in NYC or any blue city and you stop someone from being attacked, often you will be the one arrested and charged. Yep. That's why no one steps in. The dude who stopped beep is about to find this out.
Are we not allowed to say that guy's name?
I'd rather not.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, I was just alluding to that.
I saw some propaganda about that guy this weekend. Holy crap.
Yeah. I was alluding to that because it's a broader trend where everyone thinks that what makes you a good person is minding your own business. And that doesn't stop anywhere good. That's how, honestly, how greater human atrocities happen, is people looking the other way because they're minding their own business, staying moisturized and in their own lane. Okay, like.
Did you hear that, guys? I'm basically going to bring about the end of civilization because I mind my own business.
I mean, philanthropy, by definition, is not minding your own business, right? It's looking for places where there is a need and trying to fulfill it.
But I get the individual's reticence to get involved in that when you go and do it.
That's a different situation.
And then when you go and do it and then find out that, oh, you're not doing it right.
Exactly.
Like why would anyone want
It's
to?
always like, defend women. Oh, then you try to defend women and then you're not doing it right.
Stop mansplaining to us.
It's the longhouse.
Why would anybody want to do that? I wouldn't want to do that. Like, there's a reason.
Dictating from the sidelines every time.
There's a reason why I get, if I donate to GoFundMe's or stuff like that, because there's no strings attached to it, and I can do that and not have to feel like I did something wrong. But is it the most effective way to help someone? Probably not, but I'd rather do something rather than nothing. But I also don't want to have to feel like I'm going to get lectured because I didn't help the right way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's stupid. And for this case, look, we're in a world now where everything you watch, it feels like, is negative these days. And can we really complain about a guy making stuff that's worth watching? That's actually like kind and polite. And like, you watch that video and there's no, like, I do find the giving $10,000 away to various people to be a little bit like,
that was kind of a cherry on top.
Like, I find that to be a little bit like he knows his audience and he knows they love to watch people just get $10,000.
Yeah.
Like, but he knows his audience. And
in the literal briefcase of ones.
Oh yeah. It's like he like literally just, he actually goes to a strip club with hundreds and exchanges them for ones.
What if MrBeast went and did a strip club video where he donates money to strippers? Then everyone would have no problem with that, right?
Neither would I.
Because he's supporting sex workers. But if you're actually helping people who are in need, then that's another story.
You know what he does? He goes and he helps the lunch shift strippers who don't make as much as the night shift strippers.
There are lunch shift strippers.
The day shift strippers are never as high end as the night shift strippers, and he goes and he donates money for equitable reasons to make sure that those day shift strippers get as much money as the night shift strippers.
I want to know if you think that a collab between Elon Musk and MrBeast is impending.
Them and PewDiePie all together.
PewDiePie probably wouldn't. He's more quiet on the internet these days.
He's know what MrBeast should have done? He should have done a video where he reimbursed PewDiePie for all the stuff that got stolen when his house got broken into.
Yeah. In Japan, of all places.
Wouldn't that be great?
I thought that Japan had record low crime rates.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.